special choice for all the venues. The truth, we are conducting a trial of one daily special per campus. The reason behind that, real high level, check your committee minutes for some more detail, come to a committee, dining committee, but reason behind that, we got a lot of feedback that I'm sort of painted into a corner with which meal I eat, whether it's at noon or in the evening, and I'm painted in that corner based on what the friend's special is. So I don't like fish, so I can only go have lunch, and I need to not eat a big meal at dinner because I take medications. There's a lot of reasons behind that. So what we moved to was still 2 options, but we wanted to move to some heavier, kind of well-rounded friend specials that are available at lunch or dinner. There's a lot of data behind that went into this, but that's for another time. Okay, another rumor: you're trying to serve smaller portions. That's just not true. I don't know. We don't have portions to compare, but that's not true. And those kind of go hand in hand. Another rumor: you're charging residents for blood pressure clinic visits, and I should have put emergency response in there. Someone shared that one with me too. That is also not true. We do and have always had a charge associated with physician-ordered services, so things like wound dressings, that type of thing, and then certain clinic visits, depending on what it is. But those blood pressure clinics that you're used to going to, if you go in with a scrape on your elbow because you're playing pickleball, you're not being charged for those type of things. And obviously, emergency response is not something that you get charged for. The guy in the Ruth dining room is an inspector keeping tabs on the staff. So, has anyone been to the Ruth in the last couple of weeks and saw the gentleman in the suit? Okay, Edith has. He's not an inspector. He's not from the state. He's not anything other than, he's the director of hospitality for Morrison's. And he's here to do some really extensive training. And the first part of that training is to observe the staff, observe leadership, and work alongside them, get a feel for how we do things. He really immerses himself in the community for 2 weeks, 3 weeks as needed. And then, so he did leave us last week, and he'll be giving us a report. And from that, we'll start to make some improvements to our dining program, and we'll share more about that. But he's not out to get anybody. He's on our side. Single Digits was contacted because Bright Spire only cares about money. I see some nods. That's not true. So that could be further from the truth, and there's more. So the truth about cable service. So what was not a factor in the decision to explore Single Digits? Because this came up at the facilities committee, and we got some good feedback from a little bit of a discussion about that. So first and foremost, again, this is what was not a factor. Money. Money was not in this discussion at all. Convenience, or an easy button for us, was not involved in this at all. Anything other than the best wishes for the residents. It was not discussed when we made this decision to explore an alternative provider. So what did go into that decision? So first, timing. The Spectrum contract was coming due, and that coincided with this expansion project. The shift, and we'll get to this a little bit down here in number 2, there's a big shift to high-speed internet, a focus on high-speed internet. And that includes not just us, not residents, not the community, but the businesses, so cable providers. So if we were to build this community today from the ground up and call Spectrum, they would not offer us bulk phone, for example. They are slowly inching away from everything that's not internet-based. And they're very open about that with us. Internet is where they make their money. So I should have said Friends Homes or Bright Spire money here. Spectrum makes their money in internet. They're shifting their business model inch by inch. And so we had to evaluate what infrastructure needs we're going to put into the expansion on our community. So timing was a big factor. Along with that was increased importance of high-speed internet. So the number of residents who focus on streaming is increasing. Again, I mentioned TV providers are focusing more on internet. Their TV services now come through the internet, similar to the way the phones do. So if you were to get a new account with Spectrum today, it would have a box that functions in some form or fashion through the internet, not the squeak squeak as we call it. And then the third, as you've heard us mention before, the quality of partnership and responsiveness. So Spectrum, they're a big company. There's a lot of silos. We're very fortunate and glad that you all have not experienced this. When we were having internet issues from Spectrum, when we were having issues, residents come to us with problems, we would call them and we would get, let me get you to this department. Well, let me get you to that department. Well, no, you need to go to bulk. And it was not, they're not a great partner. They continue to not be. However, their TV service is very reliable. So those are a lot of the factors that went into this, not money. And I know you're probably hoping that I have an update for you about that. Unfortunately, I don't. I will reiterate from last month. We have entered into a verbal agreement. We've come to a verbal agreement with Spectrum. We're waiting on some contracts to come back. We received those. We're trying to read through them and make sure that the terms are what we agreed upon. So hopefully very soon we'll have a good answer for y'all about the cable, an answer that satisfies a lot of you. As I mentioned last month, we're looking at, the agreement we came to was where Spectrum is currently provided, we would be able to keep it. In the homes that are not villas, we'll be able to install Spectrum. And in the villas, we're still trying to work through some things. So sorry to leave you all in limbo, but we're doing the best we can with that. What about DVRs? So last month, it was very quickly brought to my attention when we left that the answers we gave about DVRs did not satisfy some of the group, and they kindly pointed out to me that primarily meant the people who have single digits TV currently. So real quick, high level, there's no changes to the DVR process for Spectrum users. I don't see anybody from Ridgecrest in here, although we do have some occasionally. Dish Network users have no change. And unfortunately, there's no word on the DVR prototypes. If you're a DirecTV user, you know we've shared with you, they're building you a DVR platform. It was promised to you in November. They didn't have it ready. It was promised again in March. It's apparently still not ready. I've reached out to their engineering team. I'm waiting to hear back from them on that. And as soon as we hear back from them, I'll notify you all about the DVR. All right, quick welcome. This is a new teammate joining us on the Guilford campus. Kelly Hodges, she is the Resident Services Coordinator at Guilford. She went to UNC for a psychology degree, Master's in Social Work from App State, which was a shoe-in there. She's been a social worker at Hospice of the Piedmont for the last 5 years. She loves sports, Carolina Hurricanes. I know we got a few fans here. And loves being outside with her husband and her dog. And she'll be starting with us on the 22nd. So we're excited to have her here. So in the interim, we have a transitions plan. So Susie Hudson, who is, you all know her, she is the Resident Services Coordinator at Guilford. She's moved over here when we had a vacancy here. She is taking an opportunity to transition into the Events Coordinator role. So thank you, Susie, for all of your work as Resident Services Coordinator. We are excited for Susie as she embarks on this journey into the Events Coordinator role. She'll be joining Whitney's team, and she'll be moving over here. So she'll be in the office formerly occupied by Daryl and Rich on Admin Hall. In the interim, Sydney will be covering resident services needs for the entire community until the 22nd. And she will be setting up some office hours on the Guilford campus on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And if you need her while she is not on your specific campus, you all should have her number. We'll be sharing that at Guilford so they have her number. But if not, 336-369-4336. The resident handbook is live on CareMerge as of 1:30 today. So the last thing Sydney did before she walked in here was put the new handbook on CareMerge. So if you're a CareMerge user, go check it out. The distribution plan is coming. We are talking to our printers, because obviously it's not just something that's printed on our printers in-house. We send it out to a professional printer. It comes back in the binders and all of that. So we're working on our plan for how we do that. Quick recap, it will be a requested item. It won't be something that we print and give to everyone. If you can use Care Merge, we highly encourage you to use Care Merge. It's a lot of paper. It's more substantial than the handbook that you're used to, and we want to make sure that that you all get that if you need it. Resident Lounge renovations. This has been a great project. So earlier this week, the final design was shared with the focus group, and a timeline will be coming soon. We're reaching out to vendors and ordering some items. Carpet, flooring, tables, shelves, artwork, baskets. I'm trying to remember it all. There's a lot of things going into this. So thank you to the focus group. I see some of you out there, and I really appreciate your thoughts, ideas, input, insight, and we'll say corrective feedback sometimes. They were quick to let us know when something's too modern. We don't want to get too modern. So real quick, I know this is blurry. I blew it up trying to make it look good. But here's a quick overview. So the wall paint is going to be this nice kind of soft grayish color. White trim. The bookcases will be white. Here's a snapshot. So we're keeping the floral art, or the landscape art that's there, adding some complementary pieces to it. A new coffee station with a nice stone top to prevent it from being ruined. We got some nice drapery, some chairs that will go in these spaces. Let's see, carpet here, some nice new faux wood blinds. It's going to look really nice. We are maintaining the current computer setup. The reader will stay. The tables will be the same, but we're getting new tabletops. So they'll be the same dimensions, style that you're used to. We'll be using the same bases we have. We got a lot of feedback about the chairs. I got a call just the other day that the chairs were about to fall apart. So similar to the chairs at Coble's, a little bit higher so you can get up. We got a lot of feedback about the height of the chairs being appropriate, the cushions being firm enough to get in and out of. And then these are the colors, and again, I apologize, these things don't look as great on the computer as they do in real life, but a little bit closer to time, I'll see if we can get some of those samples and show you, but yeah, this is a general overview of the lounge. Some feedback that went in, making sure that we retain the same number of tables. Initially, we wanted to decrease the number of tables and do some different things, and the feedback we got was that, especially our puzzle crowd, we could not do that. So again, thank you to the focus group for keeping us on task here, and more to come on that, but this is the final design, and we're excited to move forward. All right, I'm going to turn it over to Sydney, and I'm going to get my mind right for my dining updates.
Hello everybody, happy Wednesday. I'm Sydney, the Resident Services Coordinator here at West. And so we just want to give you a few quick updates. So we want to remind you guys to update those blue folders that you have either in your closet or in your, depending on where you live. There's medical information there, so your prescriptions, different doctor's orders, anything like that. We just ask that you make sure to keep that up to date. We'll continue to remind you of that throughout the year. If you do have a DNR, please make sure that that is completed, signed, and kept in a prominent location. So that would either be the fridge, the back of the door. When you do go back and forth from the hospital, sometimes this important paperwork can get lost or not filled out properly. So just take a look at that and make sure it's filled out the way that you want it to be filled out, just in case anything does happen. We can honor your wishes of how you would like things to be handled. We are having an ongoing discussion with the Health and Wellness Committee about the standardization of these documents in the storage location. Like I mentioned earlier, some of you have it in a certain location, others have it in another. We would like to standardize that. We're getting input from the Health and Wellness Committee on what they think is best and working with them on that so that everyone can look in the same spot for that information. There is also a what to expect when moving to a higher level of care information session coming in May. We will give that specific date in the connection and make sure to communicate that with you guys. So anyone is welcome to come to that. And we'll be sharing what to expect when you move to a higher level of care. And then a resident services overview. So a lot of people will ask me, just they're like, I see you around, but what do you do here? So I thought I'd just tell you guys in a big group. So I work closely with the clinic nurse, so Chris, and we just make sure that residents are receiving the appropriate services that they need. That can include temporary in-home assistance, so if you had to go out to the hospital for a reason, if you had surgery, and you need some short-term rehab, we can help with getting a caregiver in to help with those. But again, that is just a temporary in-home assistance. We also help with moves to a higher level of care, so we just make sure that you guys are safe in the living conditions that you're in. So if independent is no longer appropriate, then we assist with moving you guys to a higher level of care. And we also assist with rehab or respite care. So if you do have surgery and the social worker at the hospital has recommended a stay in rehab or respite, we're the ones that you talk to about that, and we help you get that set up with our team over at Guilford or here at West for AL if it's respite. And any time that you guys are having surgery, we do ask that you let us know, just in case anything does happen after. We can be prepared and take care of you the best way that we can. And it's, you know, we can already have a plan in place for what to do if anything does happen. So even if that's not recommended, we still ask that you let us know just so we can be prepared and help you out. We also handle complaints or concerns. So if there's anything that you're not happy with, anything that you'd like to talk about, no matter how small you might think it is, your well-being and your happiness here is very important to us, so we always want to hear it. We can't always guarantee that we're going to be able to fix every single thing, but we at least want to hear from you, and your voice is important and it matters. And so my door is always open to listen, and we'll do whatever we can to make sure that you guys are enjoying your life here and you're happy here. And then we also assist with necessary downsizing or moves. So if someone is in a 2-bedroom apartment and they lose their spouse and they'd like to downsize to a 1-bedroom, we help with that process of them moving down to a smaller place in independent living as well. And the last thing is I work closely with the move-in coordinator, which is, I don't think she's in here. Oh, she is, Teresa Mackey in the back. We work closely together on pre-move-in items. So Chris and I will do the health assessments for new residents when they come in. I see some of you that we assessed in here. And then we also help with new resident orientation. So we lead that and just make sure that residents are getting onboarded properly and getting the information that they need to succeed here at Friends Homes. And now I'll pass it off to Whitney.
Good afternoon. My name is Whitney Ariza. I'm your Director of Campus Life, and I am happy to be here today to talk to you about some of the things happening on our campus. This is something we've been working on for a pretty long time. We have a scams presentation that's going to be coming. It's being offered by the High Point Police Department. And they're going to talk about some of the commonly used scams and how you can protect yourself and your private information. Recently, I've heard about a lot of things happening with scams, things that you wouldn't even think about. So the High Point Police Department is really going to make us aware of some of these things that are happening. So you'll want to attend that if you can. Monday, April 29th in the Guilford Living Room. The next is just a little tidbit I wanted to throw in. Transportation request update. I recently went to a hall meeting. They were talking about when you fill out a transportation request, if it's for the airport, the form that we had didn't really make sense. So we have added another form that now includes requesting transportation to and from the airport, so you can put your flight details in there, and also if you need to go to a bus or train station. So you can get those forms up at the front desk with Paula. We have an Earth Day education series. It's on some of the Tuesdays in April, 11 o'clock in the Guilford Living Room, talking about recycling, sustainable swaps, and talking about water resources. Earth Day is April 22nd. So we also have a trash pickup scheduled, and there's more information in the connection on that. This is something we've been planning for a long time, a night under the stars. It's our prom event held on Wednesday, April 24th in the Hub. Everyone is welcome. We are going to have a dessert bar, coffee, we'll have dancers, some entertainment, music, And then we'll also probably crown a king and queen that evening. So I hope that you'll come and join us for that. We want you to dress up, but you certainly don't have to. So everybody is welcome in whatever attire you want to wear. All right, I know this is exciting for a lot of folks, the NCAA Final Four game streams. So on Friday, April 5th, we'll have the women's Final Four. It'll start at 7 p.m. and Saturday, April 6th, the men's Final Four, and that'll start at 6 p.m. And those are in the Guilford living room, and we'll have some refreshments for you too. And then I wanted to go through just a few of the happenings. You'll find these in the connection, so I'm just going to briefly mention a few of them. There's an artist talk with Catherine Troxler happening in the Fox Concourse. There's going to be a solar eclipse Monday, April 8th. So if you want to view that, we're going to have protective glasses, and you can join us in the Woolman parking lot if you want to view that. The only thing that would prevent that is if it's really cloudy. We wouldn't be able to see it. We're going to go to the Emily Allen Wildflower Preserve and then brunch at Famous Toastery. That's on April 10th. And then another exciting program we have is the Singing for Wellness group with Lynn Hessler. So we're inviting any residents who want to participate. You're committing to a 4 weeks, a 4-session series. Lynn is going to come in and teach us some songs. She's also simultaneously teaching students at the Greensboro Performing Arts the same songs. And then on May 10th, the students will come with our residents, and we're going to do an intergenerational concert. So it's going to be very exciting, and you don't have to have experience. Come one, come all. We're having a Passover celebration on April 16th at 4 p.m. here in the West Living Room, and this is for anyone. We're going to be celebrating some Jewish traditions. You can come and learn if you're not familiar with what Passover is or some of the traditions involved in that. April 16th. Tribe Cultural Arts Tour in Winston-Salem on April 17th. We've got a shark tank diver coming on April 22nd. He works at the Greensboro Science Center. He actually scuba dives and does work in the shark tank, and he'll be coming to talk about his experience with that. And then lastly, the Piedmont Bird Club is coming for a bird watching tour. They'll be coming to our campus, and then we're going to walk through, and they'll provide binoculars and teach us about some of the birds here in our area. And we're also a part of the Piedmont Bird Trail. Is Mr. Chopin here? No. He got a grant for some bluebird boxes, and so now we're a part of this Bluebird Highway. So if you're interested in birds, this would be a really good one to come to. We are asking that you sign up so we have enough binoculars for you. Okay, I'm going to pass it over to Jasmine.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jasmine Hernandez, the Wellness Director. So we have a great, fun week coming up, and it's the end of April. It's Wellness Week, and this week is just to celebrate your well-being. So we have quite a bit of activities. Starting Monday, we have a gardening with Daryl right here at West, and we will meet right here up front. And then we have the scams that Whitney has mentioned earlier. And then later that afternoon, we have a exercise and the benefits for brain health later that afternoon. The next day, Tuesday, we are going to the NC Zoo. If anybody's wanting to come, you can sign up. Wednesday, we have a watercolor painting class, and we will have live acoustic music in the background, if anyone is interested. Thursday in the morning, we are going to Bog Garden to walk. And then we have a sound meditation therapy session. It's about an hour, and that's going to be in the afternoon. And then later that evening, we are going to the Grasshopper game. Friday, to end our wellness week, we have a Zumbathon with Whitney, I, and Kayla. And then we are going to end it with a pickleball staff versus residents. So if you want to sign up, we will have sign-up sheets ready. All of this, we'll have a brochure and we'll put it in your mailbox. That way you have more details. 3K, 5K registration is still open. Right in the back, you'll see Kayla. If you want to volunteer, you can sign up or register. Right now, it says 104, but we are at 105, and the goal here is 120, so we are really close to meeting that goal, and I know we can make that happen. Pump It for Parkinson's is April 11th from 7:30 to 3:30 p.m. This is all around campus, healthcare, AL, independent living. So if you are interested, we are going to have 15-minute increment time slots for you to sign up on the new step. The goal here is to have reached 30,000 steps so that nationally we can do 10 million steps to represent 10 million people with Parkinson's disease. Swag bag assembly for the 3K, 5K is April 11th at 1:30 p.m. in the LEC if you're interested. And then pre-packet pickup is April 12th from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. at the Hub Circle. And then of course, our 3K, 5K annual event is April 13th. It's coming up next Saturday. 8:15 we'll open up registration. 5K will start at 9:30 a.m. and then our 3K will start off 9:45. After we will have music, games, and food, so we would love for you to come. Lastly, we have a lifelong learning, getting a grip on life with occupational therapy. So April is the month to celebrate your occupational therapist. And so they're gonna come in and give us a lecture between the correlation of your hand grip and activities. That's gonna be April 25th at 2 p.m. here. So just a reminder, for the safety of our residents and guests participating in the 3K, 5K, we ask that you do not drive on campus on Saturday, April 13th from 9 to 10:30. If you know that you have an activity that morning, please make plans to leave campus prior to 9 a.m. Parking near the Wellness Center will be reserved for guest parking, so we are asking if you can please move your vehicles before Saturday morning. Okay, thank you.
Hi there, my name is Mark Sotelo. I'm the Assistant Director of Maintenance. Mark Ford's out on vacation this week, in case you didn't know. In the month of March, we completed 369 work orders at Guilford and 398 work orders at West. What's that?
Can't hear you.
Louder. Oh, you can't hear me? Can you hear me now? Okay, sorry. Hold it. Thank you. So here are the projects we're working in at West. The hub floor replacement project is, we're still waiting on the manufacturer and installers to give us an update as far as, the status of replacement and everything. Elevator replacement project, they just finished installing the HVAC system for the additional mechanicals that are going in the elevator mechanical rooms. And it looks like it's gonna be about August when they start, sometime in August 19th roughly, and that's tentative, assuming that everything is delivered on time. So that could change. We have a parking lot lights out right now, and it's by the 1000 building, so from the bus stop, I think it's back to about AL. Those pole lights for the drive, they're out. We have a busted wire on the ground, so we're still in the process of investigating that and getting that repaired. 5100 hallway, there's a leak in the hot water supply line in the middle of the hall. We're still working on getting some of the piping in. That's 3-inch copper pipe. So it was a little bit on back order. Once we get that in, we will be scheduling it with the residents of the 5000 building, because we'll have to shut off the hot water for that building, but that's soon to come, next couple of weeks. But we'll send out a communication on that. Villa package delivery system. So yesterday they installed the unit itself, like the hub unit to receive the packages. We're still working on all the setup and the, the back internet connections and everything. So that just got installed yesterday, so that's more information to come on that as to when that's gonna be open. Storm doors were ordered recently. It takes anywhere from 6 to 12 weeks. We don't have an actual ETA yet. But storm doors for both campuses, and that's for the cottages and Ridgecrest. Roof inspections, we just completed a roof inspection of the Guilford and the West Campus. The roof inspections was for any kind of wind damage or hail damage. We're working with our insurance company and some of the inspectors to kind of go over it. It took actually a few weeks on and off here and there to get that done. But we completed yesterday, and it's going to take some time for them to get us the report back. Anywhere from 3 to 4 weeks. Implementing zone maintenance. So for our work order system, something we've been working on is as far as efficiency of work orders, completing work orders, doing them in a bit of a timeline. Part of that is assigning the mechanics to certain zones. Zones meaning, somebody may have the villas and the cottages, somebody might be assigned to like the 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 building. So just assigning the techs area that they're in charge of. That does two things. One, that helps me assign them PMs on a regular basis where I can go and, tell them, okay, these are your areas, you're gonna check fire extinguishers, everything that we do in those buildings. But it also helps you guys to know who's in your zone, who's the mechanic and the maintenance tech that's actually gonna be doing your repairs in your area. Now, of course, it won't be the same guy all the time, but most of the time it will be that person. With holidays and that kind of thing, when they're off, somebody else will cover. But this way, it'll help you get to know who your person is fixing your stuff in your area. So, more information to come on that. We did a slow rollout. The guys have been assigned, but I've already had to change them a couple of times just because of workloads and square footage and that kind of thing. So we're still kind of tweaking that out. Once we get settled into their, official assigned places, I'll send out a communication and kind of do an announcement for everybody to know who their person is and that kind of thing. Care bridge work orders. So Works Hub is now on CareMers, so you can put in a work order on CareMers. This was a soft rollout, so right now you are able to do it. We are working on a process as to how, let's say Saturday night, 9 o'clock, you need a emergency service, who do you call, that kind of thing, So we are working on processes on how to create work orders when, depending on the time of day. So all that's gonna be at the same time we do the zone maintenance. That'll be an announcement that maintenance brings out to everybody. So that should be over the next couple of weeks. All right, Guilford. Okay. Over at Guilford, we have a roofing replacement in the living room right now. It is transitioning to the dining area. Pretty much the living room has been put back together. We are transitioning. This week we've kind of taken a break from the roof repairs. Next week we'll be starting in the dining room, so there'll be a section of the dining room closed. More to come when dining talks about their part on it. Storm doors also were ordered for them. We're doing a Woolman elevator refresh. We've ordered some of the stuff for the elevators there at Woolman. The panels have been busted and the flooring's kind of chipped up and stuff with people moving in. So that'll be a whole refresh coming up. We're still looking into what we want those to look like and the design and stuff. So more to come on that. Right now we have a heavy focus on unoccupied rooms to renovate. There's quite a few rooms, roughly around 20. They're working, our renovations team, Jamie Smith, who's in charge of that, she's working as far as getting contractors in and that kind of thing to make the rooms ready, so there's a big push on that. Also, we completed the roof inspections there. And the next two are just zone maintenance that we just discussed.
Thank you very much. All right. So, last month with all the green bean talk, I bought this shirt quietly and was going to play a joke on Carly with it. And when she announced that she needed me to present for her, I thought, I'll play a joke on all of you instead. So, how about them green beans? So, we're not going to talk about that today unless someone asks a question about it. Roof repair in Guilford, this is some changes that are coming. So we'll only have access to half of the dining room. So if you've been to the roof, when you walk in the main door, there's a section to the right near the windows, there's a section to the left. The section to the left is going to be closed, similar to the living room, while they take it section by section and replace the roof there. A letter went out to the Guilford residents about this on March 25th. What we've done, similar to what happened here when we renovated Cobles, we'll be doing 2 seatings. So a seating for, they're right here, I'm not going to read the slide to you. So those are the seatings. What we are asking is that you sign up for those. So this is primarily focused on Guilford. If you want to go eat, call, make a reservation. When we say reservation, I don't mean a specific time. Just let them know which one of these times you want to come eat. So if you typically or routinely or occasionally dine at the Ruth, we are asking that you make a reservation for some of these seatings because we're going to have a very limited capacity over there. If you have questions about this, you can ask Carly. Christina's in here. We're on the couch. The assistant dining services director, she can answer a lot of these questions as well. So holidays, show of hands, who had Easter brunch here? Seems about right. We had over 200 residents in here on Easter, 150 at Guilford, which is a good problem to have, but it is a problem that we are trying to give you a good experience. So for holidays, as we've done the sign-up sheet, we're going to continue to do that. We're going to put a big emphasis on the sign-up deadlines so that we can give you a good experience. Because when we have that many people eating here, we have to overflow into another space. And what happens, we don't want a large group to show up planning to eat in Cobles, and then they get moved here, vice versa. We've got a big table set up here. Somebody doesn't show up for their reservation. We've got space, and we're moving people around. So it's trying to get ahead of this. We are going to start requiring these reservations. This will be communicated well in advance, but Mother's Day is coming up, and that'll be one of those. There's a lot of exciting things happening on Mother's Day. But more to come on that. But thank you for putting your trust in us for your holiday meals. We were talking about this earlier in the week when we got these numbers. I look at that as a sign that we're starting to see some of these improvements that we're making pay off, and that we're starting to get some goodwill back among the residents. And so we hope that we can continue that. We value your feedback on that, but more importantly, thank you for dining with us. All right, another new face. Yes?
I'd just like to say, it was done very well and the food was delicious.
Thank you. Thank you. So if you didn't hear that, I normally will hold comments till the end, but what Diane shared was that it was done very well and the food was delicious, so thank you. Another new face here. I know it seems like a lot of new faces, but several of these are positions that have been open for a while, we've been recruiting for. This is Michaela. I'm not going to attempt her last name. Michaela G. She's the new dining manager for the West Campus. She has an extensive hospitality background. One of the more impressive is that she was responsible for customer service and hospitality training at Chick-fil-A, which is a place that is known for their hospitality. We were very excited about that. Her first day was yesterday. She finished orientation, and she is getting acclimated to our community. So look for her, make her feel welcomed, and she will do the same to you. Now we'll turn it over to Jordan.
Thank you, Matt. I too love green beans. I like them
crunchy or soft. I don't discriminate towards my green beans. I wanted to just go back a couple slides here. I hope you'll forgive me. I want to point something out that Mark brought up. Did a good job of explaining. Right here. Implementation of zone maintenance. How many people have ever heard of zone maintenance before? A lot of people on the facilities team, on the facilities committee have heard of it. That's good. That means we explained it to you and you've probably been involved in it. I want to point out the beauty of zone maintenance to you with a little bit more detail. The reason why this is important is because we are assigning ownership to the maintenance tech. In the past here, you would do a work order and we would send any one of our maintenance techs to your home to fix it. Now there's a lot of different types of apartments here. Buildings are different. There's a lot of nuances between each apartment. And depending on the tech, they may or may not be familiar with your home. So that's one way to do things. Through time, we've experienced something, Mark and I both have experienced this in our past, where we worked in a community that had something called zone maintenance. What zone maintenance does, it assigns specific responsibility to a maintenance tech to a very specific group of homes. And over time, the maintenance tech becomes very familiar with your home, with the mechanicals, with the way to preventively maintain your home, and with you. And you become familiar with them. So a relationship builds, and we believe that it's a more effective way to care for your home. So we basically are able to also, there's an accountability piece there too. We will know who's maintaining your home. And so if something is missed, if it's not preventatively maintained properly, we can go back to that tech and provide more training, and we can point things out and say, hey, look, this is actually how this is supposed to be done. Or if something's done incorrectly, we can work with them. So it's a win-win, I think, overall for the residents to experience. And I actually think it's a win-win for the employee as well, because they have ownership of a space. It's theirs. And there's typically pride in ownership. So that's why I wanted to go into a little bit detail, so make sure that folks understand that this is why, we want you to know the why behind that change. So we anticipate an improvement in your maintenance experience as a result. Okay. There's my cue. Okay, here we go. All right, as I have done in months past, we're going to provide a census update. I'm happy to say that our census continues to be very strong. Last I heard, Matt, and back me up on this one, did I hear that we have about 10 apartments in Guilford available at this point? And that's really about it. So we're doing quite well as a community, and just want to highlight that. Occupancy drives a lot of our financial success, and we wouldn't be successful as a community if we didn't have a vibrant and happy group of residents. And I think overall, together, we are doing quite well. Financially, we're also doing well. I'm happy to say that 5 months into the fiscal year, we are experiencing a positive variance. That's the 577K. That we are positive in our financials. So we have a positive variance in our operating revenue. That's the money that we receive through your monthly service fees and some other ancillary ways. And then our operating expenses, there's also a positive variance. And so that means that we're being good stewards of your funds. We've seen some savings as a result of underutilization of employee insurance benefits. And then also just good budget management. There's also a few employee positions that haven't been filled yet, and so that helps as well. But I think we're gonna see that over the next couple months, this positive variance in our expenses may shrink a little bit because we are starting to fill some of those budgeted positions that we planned for. I'm hoping that you'll join us for an upcoming CEO Roadshow.
How many people have heard about the Brightspire Wellspring merger? Great, that's good. The word is out. Well, the CEOs of both organizations are going to every community throughout both portfolios, and they're meeting with residents. They're sharing information about the merger, and they'll certainly take time to answer your questions. And we're no exception. They'd like to come here. They'll be here on the 4th. They're going to meet at each of our sites with you, and all are welcome, and I hope you'll come with your questions. Wanted to let you know that we have hired our new Associate Executive Director for the Guilford campus. His name is Stephen Mintor. He has a master's in healthcare administration. He's also a licensed nursing home administrator. He brings with him 30 years of experience. He's currently the executive director from Warwick Forest in Newport News, Virginia. He's married with 2 grown sons. One of his sons I know is in the military, based out of Jacksonville, Florida. And he and his wife will be relocating shortly. His first day of work will be on the 15th. Now he'll work very closely with Matt. You'll see them together a lot. He'll probably be at this meeting and other meetings. He'll probably be at committee meetings. Even though he's not assigned to this community, I foresee the 2 gentlemen working very closely together on a lot of projects, especially as we cross-pollinate our sites, Guilford and West, more and more. We'll be working together more and more on projects. And so you won't be surprised to see him here and participating in presentations like this. Additionally, we welcomed Terry Berger. Terry is our new executive assistant. She'll be based out of Guilford. That's where my office is. But she'll support Matt, Stephen, Hannah, who's our Director of Healthcare Services, and myself. I foresee organically that she'll probably be helping me a little bit more just because we'll be side by side. Her office is right in front of my office, but she'll also support the others. She has 35 years of experience managing offices and supporting executives. She returned to Kernersville in 2022. She once owned a business with her husband and family for quite some time. She was living in Tennessee for a little while, working for another senior living provider as the executive assistant to the CEO there. She did that for about 6 years, but they wanted to come back here. They spent a lot of time here in the past, and this is where their heart was. So her first day of work was Monday. She's been going through orientation. She was a little under the weather today, so she's out. I suspect she'll be back tomorrow or the next day. But we want to welcome her. Again, you'll see her around here too. She'll be setting up meetings in advance. She'll be sitting in on meetings that we attend. So if you see her, I hope you'll come up and say hello. Okay, well, that brings us to the question and answer portion, everybody's favorite portion of the meeting. If you will just wait for a moment for the microphone to get to you. And remember, when you speak into the microphone, you have to hold it very, very close in order for folks to hear you.
As I like to remind everybody, you're not officially a member of Friends Homes West. You've been yelled at for not using the microphone correctly. So Mark, you made it.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions?
What is Kentura? I saw that on one of the slides.
Kentura is the new name of the company, the merger between Brightspire and Wellspring. Both companies coming together will have a new name, and it will be Kentura.
If we have a work order to put in, do we go through Bernadette or the Care Merge? If we have a work order, do we go through Care Merge or go to Bernadette?
You can do either. Some folks prefer to use the phone and call Bernadette to place the work order, and they're not perhaps familiar or comfortable with using Care Merge. That's okay. So if you aren't comfortable using the Care Merge and the computer to place your work order, you certainly can. The beauty of that is you can place that work order anytime you want, 24/7 from the comfort of your home, as opposed to either leaving a message by phone or calling and having to explain it. So it's up to you.
If you use CareMerge, you can log back into your CareMerge, go to the page where you submitted that work order, and you can see real-time updates on that. So there is a benefit to using it, but we recognize that not everybody will want to use it, but there is a benefit there. Hang on. I think 1, 2, 3. Hang on 1 second.
Do we have anything in place to tell us when someone has the COVID virus?
We're not sharing broadly when people are sick. That's their personal information to share. At one point, we were doing updates when people were tested positive, but we've been very fortunate that we're in a new day, a new era. It's still out there and it still happens occasionally, but it's not. By the time we are notified and get a memo out, most people now, by the new quarantine guidelines, are recovered and out of quarantine. So we don't see sharing that.
I just wanted to add to what you had said about the convenience of putting the service order into CareMerge and the fact that you can then see the result and the status as it goes along. I think there were two pieces. One is if you call or send an email, you're not entering it through this system, so you won't be able to see the status. The only ones you'll be able to see the status of are the ones that you enter through CareMerge.
That's a good point. Yes, thank you.
The merger, so it's gonna have a new name, Contura. What the heck does that mean to me? What does the merger mean to me? I'm a little...
That's the whole point of the meeting, that you're invited to attend. I think it would be good for you to attend. I think, it's not gonna affect Friends Homes as much as it affects the Bright Spire and Wellspring communities. But your question specifically speaks to why we're having this meeting, and so we hope that you'll come.
A couple of things. For the sake of people who aren't here today, the issue of don't drive on campus, Saturday morning the 13th, I hope you will get lots and lots of publicity out in cubbies, signs, etc., in case someone has an important appointment to get to and didn't hear. And also, as one of the people who reviewed the draft of the handbook, I noticed a number of things in it that were changes from current policy. And I'm concerned that people may be caught off guard. I'm thinking that some kind of a fun approach like scavenger hunt for certain things in the handbook, because not very many people are going to read that handbook in CareMerge from cover to cover. And or maybe there's some other way you can call attention to things, to policies that, whether they're not a change, at least haven't been enforced.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Is there any serious consideration being given to a small dog park?
Not currently.
Not currently. Okay.
Any other questions, folks? Did we cover all the bases? Oh, all of you?
Jordan, when you mentioned the meeting about the co-mingling, I believe you said it's tomorrow. I have a dental appointment.
Well, there's two meetings, and they're at different times. Perhaps you can, there's one at Guilford and there's one here. Maybe you can come to one of the two?
I appreciate that, and I probably will on a certain drive. But I think 24-hour notice is not enough time.
Well, and if you can't go in person and ask the questions that you'd like to ask, we'll look into, I think we can record it and put it on CareMerge.
Yeah, so, and that is in the connection,
On the front page.
on the front page.
Well, I think that concludes our meeting. Thank you all for coming today. Have a great day.
I guess we're playing football next Friday.
Sounds like it.
We're gonna play against the staff.
Yeah, I want to know who on the staff knows how to play pickleball.
I know.
We probably won't be invited. Oh, that's a possibility. Yeah, they won't tell us about it.
Yeah, really. Hello.
All right, we'll see you tonight.
Yes, I'll be there.
On balance or out of balance? I'm out of balance today.
Ah.